Divya Darling here from the Intrinsic Brilliance Institute, back to explore with you anger. Anger is an amazing emotion when we understand it. So today we're going to deconstruct what I like to refer to as the anger molecule. 3 key parts to anger, and they will be there every single time we experience anger. Just like water is made up of 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen, H2O, these 3 key elements are present every time we're experiencing anger. First element, hurt. Underneath anger is always some hurt. It's been said before that anger is the bodyguard of sadness. So for us to really appreciate anger, diffuse the anger, to honor it, to release it, we've got to acknowledge the hurt that's there first. And let ourselves feel that. Without the mask. Yeah? So first starting with acknowledging the hurt. Second part of anger is an element of projection. We call this spot it, you got it. There will always be an accusation when we're angry. When we're angry, there's some, we want to blame someone and say, you did this to me. You did this thing. And whatever that is, that's the accusation. Or you were behaving like a child, or whatever the accusation was. You weren't being kind, or any number of accusations we could have. But there will be an accusation there. And that accusation, that's the projection. Because in some aspect of our lives, perhaps totally unconnected to this situation, we are that too. And our unconscious is attempting to call our attention to it, bring our awareness to it so we can adjust. And the only way it knows how to is hijacking our eyes and using the external world. So it's like with a movie, we see things on the screen, but really it's the film that's where the information is, the data is. It's not on the screen that it's projected on. It's the same thing. That's why we call it a projection. So we're wanting to put something externally, blame someone externally, but really there's something going on internally. So what if it was, you're not listening to me? The question I like to ask is, how's that true of me? Where am I not listening to me? And whatever the accusation is, when we look with curiosity and sincerity, we will find an answer. We've got to be open to it with curiosity and sincerity. When we're attached to holding on to the anger rather than releasing it, we won't be able to see it. So this is a useful molecule, this formula is useful when you're wanting to acknowledge the anger and release it in a skillful way. The third element that's present in anger is a call to action. A call to action because anger is a fiery energy. It's not a passive energy. It's got some momentum to it, and there will always be an action to be taken. The action might be inside, but there'll be some adjustment to be made. Something that either maybe internally we need to recalibrate something. Maybe externally we need to have a conversation with someone. There will be an action. So those 3 key elements, starting with hurt, acknowledging the hurt. Secondly, asking, what's the accusation? And then, how's that true of me? Allowing those to diffuse first before we come to the third aspect. What's the action? What's the call to action? That's really important. We do this in order, right? It's really important that we start with hurt, acknowledge the projection, and then do the call to action. Because if we flip the order, we're acting on something that's not necessarily the truth of what's there, right? Where our action is, I just need to go punch that person in the face, or whatever the action might be, that isn't perhaps what your deeper, wiser self would have you do. So I hope that was useful for you in understanding the value of anger and being able to deconstruct it.